Hey guys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of the No BS With Birchy podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Birch, and this is the show unraveling the truth to the facade of the 21st century. We're now exit the matrix and waking up to motherfucking reality. Today I want to talk a little bit about what I do, because sometimes I make podcasts for you guys, and all the time I make the podcast for you guys, but sometimes I go pretty wild on different tangents, talk about lots of different things. And I've had a lot of people writing in and, questioning, saying, well, Nathan, you give us all this great content, but what do you actually do? Like, what's your job? What's your business? All that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd break down, a bit about, the buyer's agent, which was my core business, and talk a bit about that, where we came from, why we do what we do, and, what I do different than all the other buyers agents out there. So basically here at B.Invested, build an investment business where we help people out, whether it be from a finance perspective, managing your investments, building your portfolio, guiding you along the way, securing and locating the deals, and all different parts of the portfolio and the journey for our investors. So the main one which I work in is the core business, which is the buyer's agency, where we locate the deals and negotiate them. And I guess when people look at buyer's agents today, there's like a lot of buyer's agents out there. There's buyer's agents. Every time you go onto your Facebook or whatever, you'll be, buy this property, do this, right? What makes us different to all of those buyer's agents that are out there? So when I look back over the course of the last 15 years. I set up B.Invested 15 years ago in 2009. And at the time, I started the business as an education business, which was just to help people with, courses and different stuff like that, and mentoring. And it was more one-on-one mentoring and coaching. And when I first set it up, I'd say to people, I've got a buyer's agency option. And people are like, a buyer's agency? What's that? And I'll be like, well, we help you buy a property and, we save you money and all that. And they're like, I could just do it myself. I'm like, well, do it yourself, right? And I found it interesting because I had a mentoring program where I actually, as a part of the mentoring program, I had a subscription where people would be sent deals. And those people that were sent the deals, they didn't do anything with the deals because they had the deals, they had the mentoring, but they didn't take action. And I needed the more hands-on approach to guide them with their journey. And back in the day, people didn't know what a buyer's agent was. There was only 3 to 4 buyer's agents in the country back then. And, it wasn't a known thing. And nowadays there's buyer's agents. There's thousands of them out there, right? There might be tens of thousands, who knows, right? And I see all these ads constantly in my news feed saying like, oh, earn a side gig hustle, be a buyer's agent, earn extra money, right? And all these people, like 2 months ago, they could have been a landscaper, and now they've done a course and they're a buyer's agent. No offense to landscapers, right? But, they might have been an internet marketer and now they're a buyer's agent, right? And I think, it's evolved a lot. And when I say I'm a buyer's agent, people are like, oh, cool, buyer's agent. Everyone knows what a buyer's agent is in 2024. But I guess the importance of, finding the right person or the right people, the right business to help you on your journey to get you where you want to be is cutting through all of that shit out there. So I thought today I'd talk about, what makes B.Invested the no-brainer buyer's agency out there. So firstly, I do all the deals myself. I personally own hundreds of properties. I've bought over 15,000 properties for my investors over the course of the last 15 years. And I've got good relationships with the agents and all that sort of stuff. So, so I guess when you come into B.Invested, the first thing is that, I'm buying those properties for you and locating them, negotiating them and doing all that. I guess the second part to it is buyer's agents, and they go, oh, what do you want? Oh, I want a house. I want this. Okay. Right. They're like a lunch order lady, right? They just take your order, get your brown paper bag, give you what you want. That's it. From my side, I'm looking at, okay, well, what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Where are you at? What are we trying to do? And I work with you on the strategy to get you to where you want to be, because 9 times out of 10, when people come to me, what they want and what they need are 2 separate things, right? And if you're buying what you want and not what you need, then buying what you want ain't going to help you out. It's like you have children and your kids say to you, hey, I want chicken nuggets for dinner. I want broccoli. I want this. I don't want vegetables. I want macas, right? You can be the kid's friend and give them what they want, but it's not going to turn them out to be a good adult, right? You can be, I'm not saying if you feed kids McDonald's it's bad, right? But it's like, at the end of the day, you want your goal, we need to take certain steps, and you've got the confidence of, me being able to build all these large portfolios for investors, that's what you're dealing with. So I guess from the data side of things, I've been in the market for 22 years as a property investor. Looking at these buyers agents out there, I'd want to know their track record. What is their experience, right? How many properties have they bought? How many market cycles have they been through? What do they recall from a property market in Western Sydney in 2002, right? What do they recall from the Gold Coast market in 2004, right? I mean, before the internet was there, because these markets leave clues. They go through waves and cycles, right? They don't just keep going on a trajectory, which is, like this. It may look like that, it may feel like that, but how are they minimizing your risk along the way? What risk minimization strategies have they got for your portfolio? So certain things to look at. I guess the big part about what I do is there's 5 things that I talk about in building a portfolio: below market value, upside of capital growth, strong cash flow, below rebuild cost, and the people that are in the location have the ability to service for that property to double, right? And there's 5 keys to building a property portfolio. It started off as 3, but I put 5 on it now because it's important. Things evolve and grow. Looking at the core principles, if they don't meet, certain criteria to get, to be a good investment grade property, I won't be buying those assets and adding them into a portfolio. So there's millions and millions of properties out there in the country, but not all those properties are good investment properties. So it's important that you know what's right. I guess the important part as well is that, as I said before, when I first started the business, there was like maybe 3 or 4 buyers agents out there. Now there's thousands of them. Lots of them have been my clients that I've taught. So it could have been staff that I assisted in their journey, and they've gone off to do their own thing. So I guess from the other side of things is that you're dealing with the OGs out there, right? We've been in the industry for a long time. The results speak for themselves. We've got thousands of investors which have built up billions of dollars worth of net worth from our strategies, from our principles, from us buying, accumulating those assets under our guidance over decades. So you're dealing with the OG when you deal with B.Invested. In 2024, there's still deals out there. A lot of people say, well, you got to spend $1 million on a property, or you're buying a property which is brand new, or they'll try and jazz it up. And over the last 22 years of being a property investor, I've seen all different phases and hot deal type things of the day out there. So I've seen jewel keys, granny flats, splitting those properties up into multiples. I've seen NRAS, NDIS, timeshares. There's all different types of properties I've seen over the last 22 years, which have sounded hot deals on the day, but they're not hot deals. They're just like hot little, terms that people give, like salespeople. Generally, they're new properties that are being sold off the plan, where the marketing company's pushing them, right? Negative gearing, right? Who'd want to negative gear a property? It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, right? But people in 2024 think it's impossible to buy a property. That you might sit here and go, oh, that's good, all good. You bought properties 20 years ago for $200,000 a piece. It's 2024. It's $1 million, right? I'm on the ground out there in all these locations, all across the country. I'm national, right? These deals I'm picking up in 2024, we're picking them up for $20,000 still, right? Average price this year in 2024 for our investors has been about $220,000, the average purchase price that we're buying for our investors. The average rent on that is about $400 per week. So we're getting 10% yields. We're buying in 2024 less than rebuild cost of what it would cost you to build a granny flat. We're buying houses and units and all different types of properties for that. The cheapest thing, $25,000 this year. The deals are out there. So buying with us, we can get cheap, good, solid investment grade properties backed by data. I've got some little stats here over the last 15 years. 72% of our investors pull equity out in 12 months, right? 72%. 31% pull out equity in the first 3 months of buying a property. 93% of deals are cash flow positive from day one. The time it takes for an asset to double, 43% of them in the first 18 months, 82% in 36 months. 27% of them triple in the first 5 years. There's some stats that I've pulled out. I guess when working with us, like, we're not out there buying you the dream house that you want to be buying to live in, and you go in there and you're telling us, I want to have, a butler's pantry, and I want this and I want that, right? There's lots of people that can help you on that front. We buy investment grade assets, right? Very solid investment grade assets, which are stuff that I buy myself, right? And I reckon half of my portfolio, half of my 250 properties that I own have been deals that I've bought because I've been annoyed with someone. And I'm like, I'm going to buy it and show you that I'll make money, right? I tell my clients, I was like, hey, if you don't buy it, I'll buy it. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm scared about this. Like, don't worry. I'll do a video of it. I'll show you how to make money out of it, right? I'll go buy the property just for the fun of it, because it's the same sort of properties that I'm buying for them that I'm buying for myself. From off the back of that, right, when I'm securing the properties, right, I treat property investing like a business. And as a business, you should be logical, not emotional, right? Logical business lasts, right? Emotional businesses don't, right? So how many businesses you see on the stock market or publicly listed would have a business plan and have, key bits of infrastructure in their business to make them grow to that size and to be, last more than 5 or 10 years, right? Emotional people that go into business, like, I'm going to buy a business, I'm going to set up a business because I don't want to work for the boss or whatever, right? People don't realize when they're going into business, they've got a million bosses, not just one boss that they used to have. So as an investor, most investors that we buy from, most properties that we buy, we're buying either cheaper or haven't caught up with inflation from where they were 10 years ago, right? We're buying very, very below market value properties that are so cheap, right? So that means people are losing when they're buying. If we're buying it, we're buying it cheap. We're buying a property for 200 grand. Someone paid 300 grand for it 5-10 years ago. They've lost, we've gained, right? So when I look at it, we're buying based on logic and based on data, but not based on emotions, right? People often say, and I reckon maybe like 30% of the time, my investors will be like, oh, Nathan, that one there, I don't like it, or this or that, or do you think it's going to do this? And that's our role, is to help you, grow your mindset, educate you along the way to go, this is how the numbers are stacking up. 1, 2, 3, blah, blah. So we're very logical with what we do and very numbers driven. And we treat property investing like a business, not there's no emotion attached to it. I guess from when you're buying a property, you're sitting there going, why do you buy them so cheap? How do you get them below market value? And I guess the data of purchasing so many properties, I've been the number one user of realestate.com, right, in this country for many years, right? I get the emails saying you're in the top this amount, right? The amount of data that I have to trawl through in order to obtain and acquire these assets is, there's so much data out there, right? When I see a deal, I know the numbers, right? Because I've looked at it for the last 22 years being an investor personally. Besides that is, once you know the data, you know that there's the agents, right? I get deals all the time where there's might be 10 other buyers that are fighting against it, 20 other buyers fighting against it. But due to my relationship with the agent, I've been dealing with them for 10 or 15 years. But remember, most real estate agents deal with someone once or twice or 3 times or 4 times. So they might deal with a buyer's agent that might buy 2 properties a year or 4 properties a year from that one real estate agent. When I've literally made these real estate agents, you'd be sitting there going, shit, I don't know how that person's the number one of their franchise group, right? I don't understand how they get there, right? It's because I've bought so many properties through them. The relationships that I've built. So, when I do a deal, I get in there and I get the properties cheaper because I've got that relationship. We've got the purchasing power as an institutional investor, not just as a mum and dad investor. Looking at I'm just going through a few little notes that I've got here. When I'm acquiring the assets, as I said beforehand, it's logic, it's not emotion. I want to look at what is your goal for the next 5 years? What is your goal for the next 10 years, 15 years? How's this property going to get you? If you're buying the first property, how's the first one getting into number 2 and 3? If you're buying your 5th property, how's number 5 going to get you into number 6, 7, and 8? So you're buying a property, but it's a bigger strategy. And I need to look at your 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plans to go, okay, how are we utilizing this property? And is it the best value for you to be purchasing that asset, or is there something else that's going to be able to open up more doors for you to be able to get to your end goal? So that's how I'm looking at these assets that we're buying. The other aspect of it is I'm a professional negotiator, so that's what you're paying me to do. So how do I get property so cheap? It's understanding how to position the deal. And at the end of the day, I've dealt with tens of thousands of real estate agents over the country over the course of the last 22 years of being an investor. Looking at, they're just people at the end of the day, right? And they're looking for certain outcomes to hit their own KPIs and all that sort of stuff. An agent, wants a path of least resistance. So for me to make certain deals happen and get them at certain prices, and when I share with you, hey, I bought this thing, it was listed for this is what I picked it up for, this is what it is. Being a professional negotiator is very important. It's not like, oh, I'm going to give you an offer, and if you don't accept it, I'm going to walk away. That ain't how I negotiate, right? It needs to be very seamless when I'm negotiating with an agent. There's no me against you. It's always, let's collaborate, let's work together, let's get an outcome. What can we have to do? What do we have to do? What can we do? How can we work together? All those sorts of things. I could give away all my tips and tricks on how to negotiate, but that's what I specialize in. I guess the other so-called buyers agents out there, how many properties do they own? How long have they been investing for? I've got over 150 million invested in the real estate myself. I'm self-made. I don't know too many people out there that are in the industry doing what I do with that sort of asset. So I think if you're wanting to retire from your job or whatever you're doing, it's important that the people that you're working with, whether it be your accountant, your broker, or your financial planner, you want to know that they're on the same journey that you are, right? Seriously think of it this way, right? You want to get 100 grand a year passive income. You want to get, $10 million worth of property. How can you be paying someone to get you there if they haven't done it themselves or there where you want to be, right? So you want to make sure that the team you have around you, ask your accountant, how many people do you have that have 10 or more properties? Ask your broker, how many people have you got from 0 to 15 properties in your portfolio? If they say, oh, that's impossible, we get 2 or 3 is the average. Well, you're going to get 2 or 3 because they can't mathematically comprehend how to get you there. Same thing with your buyer's agent. If they don't understand how to get you to where you want to be, how are they going to have the mental capacity to get you to where you want to be? Go figure. I guess in closing, I've bought in these markets every corner. You told me a street, you told me a suburb. I feel like sometimes I'm a GPS, right? I've seen that street, right? It's like playing a game of guess who, right? Like play the game of guess who, and you're like, I've seen that over there. That data, I've seen it. Not looking through it from an AI generated report or using any sort of tech out there or using data from RP data, right? Because there's all glitches inside of data, but it's actually knowing the street by street, suburb by suburb. You told me a suburb, okay, is it on this side of the street or this side of the street or this side of the bridge or that side of the road or whatever, because there's good pockets and bad pockets in every sort of area. So it's that knowledge, I guess, from the top of the Cape York down to the bottom of Western Australia, to the bottom of Melbourne, all the way up to the top of Western Australia. We've got the country covered when it comes from being active in those sort of markets. And I guess the final part is you're dealing with people and humans. And from my side, I always say things as they are. I don't need to be doing any of this, right? I had a deal today. This is a funny little story. And someone bitched out of the deal, right? And I said to him, hey, right, that deal that you've bought, it was a $1.2 million duplex. And I'm like, this thing's worth $2 million, right? I bought it for 1.2. And I'm like, I'll buy the thing, right? It's like you're pissing 800 grand up against the wall, right? If you don't want to buy this thing, it's okay. Lose 800 grand, right? I'll go buy it. So when we're working together, I'll call you out. I'll say things as they are. But it's love that, we need to get you to where you want to be. So I call this podcast the No BS With Birchy podcast. Our business is no bullshit. We're not sitting here to be all pretentious and sometimes it comes across harsh and rough and, it is what it is, right? But we're here to get you to where you want to be. We're not slick suits, slick salespeople, slick hair, nice photography, all that sort of stuff. no BS here. So if you need help on your journey, or if you're thinking of, hey, do I need a buyer's agent, or you think you could improve your position, think of it as, you go to the gym, everyone go to the gym, but really how you go get yourself a gym membership, are you going to be pumping it out like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or are you just going to sit there and go, oh, I'll lift up my water bottle and that's my dumbbell, and you don't do anything there. You want a personal coach, you want someone that's going to help you get those phenomenal results. Choose the people that have got the capacity. You wouldn't go employ a fat personal trainer that's like, oh yeah, mate, bugging, whatever, right? So why would you want to go and do that when it comes to your finances? And let me tell you, I see broke people out there all the time in the industry that are like next to a slick car, or they've got a cool story, or they've got a nice slick presentation, or they can talk about data, or they can talk about certain things. But what are the results they've generated for themselves? What are the results they've generated for other people? That's the ultimate thing at the end of the day. So if you need help, hit us up, 1300 367 925, admin at beinvested.com.au. If you like these videos, you want to see more of these videos, subscribe, Google Play, Apple Play, Spotify, and you find us every Thursday. And smash up a like and share it with your friends and family. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Like Bilal said, man, we stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it. The dollar back to die, soon to be hyperinflated.